To work on the body, let's begin right down here with the legs. I'll go into edit mode, and kind of like the socks here, let's choose an edge right down here, and we'll press Control E and mark seam, and also let's do that same edge over here. And that just hopefully hides the seams fairly well. Let's then press the L key for each of those, and let's hit U and unwrap. And there we go. Now, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. They are tilted here at kind of odd angles, but ultimately we're going to pack all of these UV islands into this square, into this 0 to 1 space. Blender has a couple of tools to help us do that. And once we get it all into this square here, then we may do a little bit of rearranging of the islands. But it's more efficient to do it once we get everything UV mapped. So let's keep going here. For the arms, I think I'm going to take the edge right down here to hide that edge or to hide that seam along the arm. I'm going to deselect these edges right along here. And then I think I'll split the palm of the hand out from the top. And to do that, I can bring this seam up and along the edge of the fingers all the way around. So let's see if we can do that. I'm going to press Control E and mark seam here just to get that done. And then it looks like this edge up here we can use to go along the side of the hand. So we need to turn this seam like this. And while we have it, I'll go ahead and mark that seam. And then we can take this edge here, and this is a little bit confusing to look at. So I'm going to go back to solid mode for this. And then I'm just going to press Control and click, and that will connect the edges there from the selected one. And then from here, I'll press Control and click right between the fingers, and that extends that. Control click here, Control click here, Control click here. So you can see I'm just using Control click to extend that selection on around the hand here. And let's move it up right into here, I think. And around here. It always takes the shortest path. So sometimes if I click, it'll go in the wrong direction. Like when I click here, you can see instead of going along here, it'll come down under here. So let me Control Z to undo that. And then I'll bring these down to here. Here, and then let's connect this up right here. Let's see how this works. So as you can see, what we're doing is we're breaking the palm out from the rest of the arm. We're opening it up here at the bottom of the arm, and hopefully it will then lay out flat in a fairly nice way with the rest of the hand here, with the top of the fingers and the fingernails, etc. So let's see how we're doing here. I will press the L key for that arm there. And then let's press U and unwrap. Yeah, so what we've done here, once again, is we've laid out the hand with the fingernails and the arm, and then the bottom of the hand here. Let's go back to viewport shading just so we can see it. See how the checker pattern looks. And up here, it doesn't look too bad. It's slightly bigger maybe up here than down here, but really that's not too bad. The only problem I really see is that the checker pattern along the fingers is quite a bit bigger than the rest of the hand. The palm of the hand looks pretty good, but the seams here, of course, are going to have a break in the texture here. What I'm hoping is that this isn't as visible and distracting as other arrangements of the seams might be. And generally speaking, the skin is going to be a fairly uniform texture, so hopefully we won't see a break at the seam there. All right, so now to do the same thing over on the other arm. Now I could go through and mark seams on this arm and hand in the same way I did here. And it probably wouldn't take me too much longer, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to show you a different way to do that. I'm just going to create a new object out of this arm and then duplicate it, and then rejoin the arms back to the body. So first of all, I'm going to select this arm and delete it. I'll hit X and delete faces. And then I'm going to select this arm over here and split it out from the rest of the body. To do that, I'll press the P key and separate by selection. Now, if we tab back into object mode, we've got this object here. I need to move the origin of this object to the center of the grid, so when we apply a mirror modifier or just mirror it, it'll mirror around the center point. So with the cursor at the center of the grid, and of course if your cursor isn't at the center of the grid, you can always press Shift S and the 1 key, or cursor to world origin. And then let's move this origin to the 3D cursor right there. Now if we mirrored this over in either way we want, it will mirror around this center origin. So let's try it with just Control M. Let's do that. So I'll press Shift D to duplicate the object, and then I'll press Control M and the X key, and that will pop it over to the other side, and then I'll hit the Enter key. And there we go. Now we've got the arm on the other side with the same seams and everything. All right, so now let's take these two objects, Shift select the body and press Control J, and that will add the arms back to the body. All right, so we are making headway here. Speaking of head, we're going to UV map the head in the next video. So that's coming up.